Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday. I am so glad to join everybody. I'm going to try to activate the chat here. Obviously, I'm in a little bit of a different angle sitting here. As you can see, behind me today on this happy Saturday stream is our hero of the day, Mr. Roscoe, who's obviously giving himself a bit of a scratch at the moment. If you're not familiar with my puppies, Roscoe is the little guy there who's black and white. He's the little guy who's I'm highlighting today. And we're going to be reacting to Tim. And I'll talk a little bit about why just this hobby is a hobby of mine, but obviously part of the reason why YouTube is fantastic is the fact that, it's a hobby that we actually are able to, either highlight things like animal rescues, especially at this time of year. It's so important to think about that because a lot of people I know start shopping for animals. And I think there's going to be, sadly, potentially with everything happening here in the United States at the moment, potentially more. Can you guys hopefully hear me okay? Hi, let's go. Hey, it's so nice to see everybody. Happy Saturday. Yes, it is absolutely showtime. And I think we triggered Tim the other day. We absolutely triggered Tim the other day with my live stream. Tim had been kind of, I think, thinking that we had all disappeared because Charlie hadn't really made any content because I know they have been busy. I myself have been busy with school and trying some other type of content that didn't make it so popular. Some did better than other, but just trying different things and not really paying attention to Tim. And lo and behold, we went live for Thanksgiving. And Sarasota Tim seems to have got potentially a little bit triggered. Fashionably late. Well, how late was I today? Oh, a few minutes late. Yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to figure out the angle of the camera and the puppies. And I had to get into the studio first to do so. And One Stream Live is a little particular about how much time you're in their studio time. So anyway, I'm just happy I made it. Thank you for being here, Angel of Glass. Thank you for being a moderator, being here today. Yes, the puppies are here. They are. And yeah, love the setup. Yeah, I know. See, I actually, this is why I'm running a little bit late too, is I actually changed my angle today. I decided not to just show the back of my door of my washing machine dryer and part of my refrigerator. And so I turned my table around in my living room area and decided that we would show Junebug and Roscoe. I do have a spare room that I have been trying to consider setting up as a studio in order to be able to get the this more set up. So yeah, I thought everybody would love seeing the babies, and especially if you've been following anything in girl world recently and just everybody talking about their animals, then obviously I thought, I'm going to start maybe trying to show mine. So I am going to try to start working more on a studio that I can have in order to get these guys to be more in the background. Because I know people love seeing what the dogs are up to. So if you do not know, the little dog who is the little tan colored girl, that's Junebug. That's my first rescue puppy. I've had her for over 4 years now, one of many rescue dogs. So that's another thing that I want to kind of highlight today, other than, ragging on Tim a wee bit. Is obviously if you're going to be getting any type of animal this holiday season, do go to a local shelter and support the animals there. There's going to be potentially more. A lot of people are maybe having to move, and maybe their accommodations don't take those types of pets, and so they're forced into shelters, or maybe they are breeds like the breeds that I have that aren't really accepted everywhere. Certain states they're banned, certain a lot of countries they're banned. Obviously, Junebug's actually mixed with a bully pit, so she's kind of like a big old docile girl. And then obviously the one that I'm, obviously anything that I get thanking you for being here, being part of this community, liking, subscribing, all of it helps. The last video went live. We got almost 1,000 views on that. And once I hit 1,000 views on anything, I actually make a little bit of ad revenue. So it does really help for me. And people always leave me comments like, I can't listen to 2 hours of Tim. I'm like, it's a live stream, It's if you want to go, clean your house or go shopping or you're out tootling about in your car, then you can just listen to us. And we appreciate the support so much today. And so I am very, very grateful. Thank you, Sammy. Yeah, I really want to make sure that people are not getting their animals from pet stores, please. Get them from a local shelter. Even over breeders sometimes, there might even be the breed that you want at an animal rescue. It's surprising how many wonderful dogs end up over there. But anyway, the other day, if you had not been joining us, we have loved to have polls. As you may know, Amazon recently has had a interesting thing about returns. And so I thought maybe we would start out if we had time, look at the news thing about Amazon returns, because Amazon is cracking down on those. So I thought we might be wanting to take a look at that. And so yeah, just if you want to give me a like, that would be a great season for giving. And obviously, like I said, my dog, I'm obviously a registered nurse. If anybody's aware, veterinary care here in the United States is extremely expensive. Roscoe has extremely bad teeth. Obviously, I do fairly well, but I am thinking it's going to cost me a lot of money this holiday season after just having gotten them all their medications. And so, like I said, anything that gets given, either through buy me a coffee or anything, really, this channel, the hobby, and the reason why I get it monetized and why I continue to make content and work hard is really to make the money to keep 2 really big dogs in this country. Because over the summertime or April, I know that Junebug's cancer surgery was like, and everything that went around her stuff was like $2,000. So I don't expect for people to pay for my pets, but like I said, just you guys liking and then getting other people to see this content, I promise you, helps me make some jingle to my pocket, and it's always super appreciated. And so I just always wanted to make sure that people do. And the puppies wanted to say thank you too. And yeah, I just want to make sure that people make sure that they get their animals from shelters. And both Junebug and Roscoe came from the Virginia Beach Animal Adoption Center that, if anybody knows, is part of the animal control. So these are dogs that generally are probably some of the ones that people want the least often. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we appreciate it. Let's get to Tim then. All right, that's my message of the day. That's my synchrononious self, but I really do appreciate it. And I know so many of you are so generous with your time, with your support, with coffee donations, with being part of the community, regularly supporting it and being understanding when I can't stream and do stuff all the time. People have sent really generous super thanks to me over the past year and over the years. Tim's the legal battle with Tim. I mean, I can come out with receipts, but it was very expensive. Probably any of the profit that was made. I had very generous donations too, but pretty much anything that got made off of this channel, instead of it going to my dogs, went to attorneys for me to fight this just toxic turkey here, who gives out the worst advice, who's still trying to figure out himself at the age of 67 years old and seems to be dragging his community along with him on it. And I don't like to necessarily just choose one creator to make content on because it makes me feel like I'm slightly pathological. But we went live on Thanksgiving night, and I decided, because I hadn't been watching a lot of Tim, he had one of his 43-minute morning chats. People want to talk about me and my 2-hour live streams. At least I try to get a community together. We have a couple of chuckles over here, it's all for fun. And also to give some, hopefully, better advice towards your health primarily. But he's all hopped up on his coffee, and he's more hopped up on being triggered, I think, by reaction channels, because at that time, Darling also put out some videos recently. A lot of reaction channels, especially in the Tim space, had not really been making any content so much. I mean, some like Dinger obviously is always getting his stuff out. Miss Vicky, let me turn around over here because we obviously want to see the pups. Trying to get it so you guys can see the pups and still see Sarasota Tim. We're gonna have to bring Jesus up here, obviously, because we know that Tim just is so religious and sanctimonious along with it. Or maybe I'm trying to figure out. Maybe we just, because I want people to still see the puppies. Hey, come on in. I was just talking about Tim just being toxic. No, obviously Tim being triggered. Okay, so don't forget there is a poll. Please join in. How many votes have we gotten so far on the poll? Let me see. What we got over here? Well, we got 21. Let's get to 30 votes. All right. And make sure you like the stream as you come in so other people can find this awesome content here on YouTube. I know a lot of other people are going live. So, Tim, can you believe this? His channel so far has had 27.5 million total views. Isn't that wild? And he has, his subscriber count went down, guys. Not that mine isn't going down either. But I'm not pumping out full videos a day. And so he has a far much more opportunity for engagement. This was the one that came out this morning. He hasn't really put out a lot. I don't think he really put out anything. So this is from yesterday. Let's see, from the day before. So 16 hours ago, Tim put out this Best Black Friday camera deal. And he had just been like getting out the content. And then the reactors came out. And then Tim looks like he's gotten a little, I don't know, maybe he's at the gym. He talked about going back to the gym again. All right, Tim. Let's see. Let's get it started. 1.5.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Sarasota Tim. It is 5:50 or 10 minutes till 6, however you want to say it. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday. What is that called after Thanksgiving? Everybody lined up last night at midnight at the stores. They don't do that anymore because Black Friday started last Friday. I got some coffee here.
Yeah, I heard the Black Friday deals were terrible. I heard the Black Friday deals weren't much of anything. Jesus is a big moneymaker this holiday season. Oh, yes. And Tim hopes that he'll be making money for Tim too. Let me know. Do we want Tim smaller and see the puppies better? Do you want to see the puppy cam and we just put smaller Tim? Because look, there's Roscoe. Say hi, Roscoe. So I'm looking forward to getting my teeth taken care of this Thursday, and I am too, because he sleeps like here on my shoulder. No joke. And his little head. Oh, well, we're hoping Roscoe's going to be a money maker for himself. And then you guys make sure to hit the likes as you come in, because honestly, the last video's got almost 1,000 views, and we did, every little bit helps. And I'm just going to be dreadfully honest, because I think it's terrible when people aren't being honest. And you guys are certainly going to be able to help have my puppies. I'm being facetious because Girl World's got some stuff going on. If you're not familiar with Girl World, there's some things going on about cats. But these guys are certainly living their best lives ever. You meant money in Tim's pocket? Well, I don't know. I mean, he's always going to make some money if he's getting some. Let me know, because I'm moving. I'm trying to keep the dogs in show. He's always going to be making money if he's going to be putting out a number of content, and he still has all his stands. I'm trying not to block Junebug. He still has all his absolute stands who are always watching him. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Sammy. You think they're precious? Oh, thank you. Yeah, they're hard work sometimes though. Trying to take them into the PetSmart or any type of places is tough. Yeah, make sure you hit the likes. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, this is for educational purposes. Yeah, I don't diagnose or treat Tim. Ever. It's my opinion only. Absolutely. All right, let's get this party going. All right, I have to stay on the side here with this guy. All right.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What are you doing, Baker? The microphone's over here. Testing. So
I don't know what is it about these folks. Okay, so I was 6 minutes late starting. Part of the reason why was because I don't want to do this. I don't know if this is supposed to be Tim being folksy because he doesn't have his microphone on, or he just so needing to get this going, and his upload speeds. Now that might be one of the reasons why we have not seen anything from Tim today. Is Tim has said recently that he's not doing anything in 4K. He's not filming on the motorbike anymore. Oh, I don't think he's that happy about that $26,000 motorbike. I think he thought that was going to be a money-making content machine. And he would be one of these guys getting hundreds of thousands of views. But I want to think that sometimes those are very established channels. And sometimes you see they only have like a certain number of videos, but I wonder sometimes if they kind of clean up their channels, these guys, and get rid of older content and privatize stuff, because you see some of big channels with very few videos and you're like, well, how can they have been here for years? They only got like 100 videos. So obviously people go through changes, but Tim's like the girls. He's never set up. At least I set up. I mean, I got the puppies and scarves and everything behind me.
today is the day that some of my stuff is going to arrive. Microphones, all my DJI crap. Going to come in a little case like this with 3 batteries. I got 2 mini mics. They're half the size. Here. They're half the size of this. They're about half of that. And they don't need this device I have plugged into the bottom of my phone right now. I can use it. It's going to come with one. But the camera I'm getting hooks up to the DJI mic because it's all the same family. Got to keep it in the family. And it's Bluetooth. It's actually called DJI Audio. And I watched a video yesterday. A guy, he kept walking. You couldn't even see him anymore. He was 150 feet away.
Is this something that Tim's being sent to review? Is this something for an affiliate link? Because Tim doesn't get these types of items without it being part of a absolute, making sure that he gets his stuff going.
Away. And it sounded like he was standing right next to the phone or the camera. I'm so excited after going on 7 years as a content creator to move past an iPhone. Most professionals use DSLRs, big 35 millimeter cameras, and others use, like action videos, snow skiers and water divers and snorkelers and all that kind of stuff. They use these action cameras, GoPros and the DJI. DJI took the market, took everything that GoPro knew and dumbfounded it. I mean, DJI, it rules. So, folks, that's the best cup of coffee I've ever drank in my life. I'm not kidding you. This morning, here's what I did. Check it out. I instead of filling up, I'm having a problem figuring out the scientific water coffee mixture. So I basically
okay. How did we go from bike helmet and equipment to coffee water? Tim's mind is all over the shop this early morning. And like I said, I think he said this, I don't know. He's not been around today, which is unusual at 1:30 on a Saturday. We can only assume he's out doing something and getting some really exciting content together, or something's taking forever to upload. He did say that he didn't get something, or so bad. He complained the other day about he couldn't do a pay it forward at the McDonald's because the people were $25 behind him, and he didn't want to spend $25. It's not getting $25 on the video. So Tim is definitely not going to spend $25 on a pay it forward. Doesn't make $25 on one of those videos. He may at most, if he's getting 1,600 views on one of those, maybe he gets $8 or $10. So that's maybe why Tim caps that stuff.
Take my scooper here. Yeah, see? Little scooper. And it says it's, oh God, who could read it? Let's see. Probably says tablespoon or something. I want to know. I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. It says, it just says SM.
I think you bring up an excellent point here, and I want to share this for anybody who's watches on like this while they're cleaning house. Scott says, why do people who support this, I probably can't say that word, ask him why with all the time he has on his hands, he does not volunteer at a food pantry, a food bank, the Salvation Army, Toys for Tot. He disgusts me. Yeah, and I mean, really, well, Tim doesn't go to church either, but he certainly has time to do a monetized thing about crushing it for Christ. Now, obviously, like I said, the money that I get from this channel, I use with my dogs. My dogs are rescues. And I was also thinking, considering too, because I don't have a very large channel, so I can't like fund drive directly for my local animal shelter, but I'd also considered about potentially opening up a PO box when I have a much larger channel. I don't feel like I'm always asking people to help support my attorneys against Tim. Hopefully he's given up on that because it's been a long time since he's done a channel strike. I think Tammy might have been part of that striking thing. He hasn't done it in a little while, but he says he won't get drunk one night over Christmas and start striking the reaction channels again. Because he's been on that non-alcoholic beer, which anybody will tell you isn't really non-alcoholic. So anyway, yes, or getting a PO box just to get toys for dogs. Maybe some to go with my pups and some to go with animal shelter that I got Roscoe and Junebug from, and we can film it down here. I'm happy to do that. Okay, so scientific water. Why do people? I don't know. And we've always said, he thinks, okay, so Tim's logic is that he does do stuff that's charitable because he pays it forward in a McDonald's parking line, like in the drive-through parking lot at the drive-through, when he buys somebody who doesn't look like they need the help or assistance breakfast. And for some reason, Tim has decided that this is the greatest act of charity known to mankind, is doing whatever he does in the McDonald's. That is his level of charity. I mean, we did raise a lot of money for breast cancer research, at least over $1,000 on this channel back in June. So thank you guys so much for doing that, because that was it was May or June. It took a while to come in. We finally got the money out in July by the time everything came through. But we did that. And you guys managed to keep an attorney very wealthy. So, and it fights for channels, and other channels did come to me about stuff with that. So I was able to give out a lot of information too. And obviously, we made content around that as well. Tim's miserable though. I feel like he should do, because he seems like he's Mary Misery at the moment.
E.g. You think I'm kidding?
What?
What in the world is that? What does that mean? See that? Whatever. I take 2 of those, and instead of putting the water directly in here, I just take 2 cups of water with my water. Got lots of water now. And I just pour 2 cups in here. 2 scoops, turn it on. And this morning, with that heavy whipping cream.
Aren't you thrilled about this content? I'm so glad his community sends him. I can't wait to see the Christmas that he's going to get. I'm almost thinking of getting a PO box just if you want to send Christmas cards to Junebug and Roscoe. I would just love to see that for them. All right. Maybe we'll do it.
That's the best cup of coffee I've drinking in
Just
my life.
be
Man, that's good coffee.
nagging on Tim too.
I've had about 3 or 4 cups already. Got up at 3:50. You know, when I see 4, 4 is the new 5. I just get up. If I see midnight 1 or 3, I say no. You know, I either go back to sleep or I don't know why I wake up. If I wake up, I'm going to get up to go pee or something, but I'm not coming out of there. I'm trying to delay what time I go to bed, but it doesn't matter. I don't need much sleep. Then I watch a couple of YouTube videos about.
Well, I think our sleep patterns do change as we age. And there's a time where I think we kind of seemingly we have less time sleeping. But then there's times where it's a lot of sleep. And all they want to do is as you age is all you want to do is sleep. So people have obviously noted, Tim, you drink an inordinate amount of caffeine. You drink a lot of coffee, Tim. And I think any healthcare provider would potentially tell you to monitor your caffeine intake, especially if it's something that causes you to have problems with your sleep. You've talked about using sleep medications, some pretty decently strong ones in the past, and yet you can't seem to figure out why you can't sleep. I would suggest you cut back on the coffee first. Maybe move to decaf at a certain hour of the day. But I'm sure you know what you seem to like and what you don't understand is caffeine is an actual addiction. And so it is a substance that can be abused. And from where you potentially went from getting whatever from alcohol, you've kind of transposed that over. In my opinion, this is not anything but just my thoughts on the matter. I am a registered nurse, trained to be a nurse educator. So, and this is part of why Tim gets triggered. Anyway, cut back on the coffee, Tim.
Things to make you healthy and happy and all this kind of stuff. And sleep, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree, is a very big component in, you know, feeling rested, looking rested, your countenance looking rested. And I completely agree. But if you can't, you can't. And I have Ambien, I have sleep aid, I have Zolfadem, Zolfadem, Ambien, sleeping pills. And
I told you, he has Ambien. Don't mix with alcohol, folks. And I say that you drink too much coffee, Tim.
Well, a couple of days a week, every week, not every night though. I'll bite one in half. They're 10s. That's giving me 5 milligrams. That's like the minimal.
Oh yeah.
And trust me, in 10 minutes, I'm nodding. But in 3-4 hours tops, I'm awake. So
somebody seems like they're not having a very good holiday season. Well, I'm having so much of a better holiday season than you are. Probably Tim. Because Tim does have troll accounts, remember? JJ told us about a couple of them. Was Ridge Runner, and there was another one. And we don't know. We haven't seen Tim come out with any content today. And Tim's definitely triggered off about whatever we were talking about the other day in our live stream. So that's why we're going to just make sure we keep making sure you have a very Merry Christmas, Tim.
You know, whatever. So are people lined up? It's I think it's like 60 degrees out there. The high is going to be 64 today. A low of 45 degrees tonight. Get out the jacket, fire up that fire pit. We're going to be out there tonight. Faux show. I got to make these today. Now, I know you've heard it all before. These have got to be cooked. I guess I'm going to repress them with my pressing machine, my new hamburger maker, because I just like to play with it. And I will put a little oil on both sides. I haven't bought the Pam yet or whatever. That would be easy so it doesn't stick.
Okay, I'm just going to let him talk for a second. I have sped him up to 1.25. I swear I have. Because he's so slow.
But I'm 196 pounds. I don't know what I weigh, you know, with all these army boots on and stuff like that. Let's see. You make your bed? Uh-huh. So, all right. So look, here's my doodad.
Yes.
Okay. It's on zeros. Hold on. I got boots, pants, microphones, heavy watches. Holy moly. 200.8. Now these are heavy boots. And this watch weighs something. And this and my clothes. And let's not forget, I got to put
every healthcare provider hears this. Oh, my boots weigh 10 pounds. My wallet's another 7. Well, don't wear those things or take them off before you step on the scale. Tim's popped that weight back on since that turkey dinner. Tim, just, it gets harder as we get older. And I think that you're still having too many calories in and not enough calories out. And that's just basic science. So, and it's quality of calories too.
baby Jesus on a diet. He's gonna have to slim down too. He can't get much slimmer, can he? I got a little Jesus on me all the time.
Oh God.
I'm like 196. I mean, I'm 4 or 5 pounds with all this crap on.
Oh, here we go.
And 2 cups of coffee. I gotta lose some water weight. I gotta lose weight. And yesterday, Thanksgiving, I ate everything. It was all part of carnivore. Not. So I don't want to feel guilty because I had a good time yesterday. But I just tell you, man, I do not want to ever see that 210 pounds again. I don't want to see 195. I want to see 185. I got to be sub 190. So I was remembering what I did when I was hell-bent on carnivore and exercise. You guys remember me going to Nathan Benderson doing sprints and calisthenics? How do you say it? And all that work.
Calisthenics? I doubt I said that any better. Calisthenics? I'm not doing any better than Tim. I need to see it written down. I don't know about sprinting, Tim. We saw that one video. We don't know if that was sprinting. It's sprinting. Tim, you were about to give yourself a heart attack.
I put in, and then you really don't even notice it on the LBs. The pounds don't represent as to what your body transforms into from weightlifting and sprints and exercising and push-ups and stuff. You just change. It isn't all about just looking like you lost weight and your skin is just hanging off of you. No, you transform your energy level, your joints, your running, your heart. And that's what I am remembering that I did. I put a lot of work into that. A lot of work. I even videoed it.
Interesting. I'll try to figure that out. I might have to, it may not be today. I might have to go back and figure that out on the back end. Send me an email if you can to remind me to do that. That would be great, Catherine, because I don't know if I can get into YouTube and not have the stream have a meltdown.
To prove that I was doing it. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to get on that motorcycle or get in my truck, and I'm going to go to one of these parks. I'm going to hit the gym regularly. I am still, this is really proof of how out of shape I am, and let myself go. I am still very sore in a good way, but still feel every muscle in my chest, my triceps and biceps, my forearms, my shoulders, my deltoids of the workout that I did 3 days ago using light, medium weight, getting lots of reps in. I like this routine because I don't want to do just 10 reps of real heavy weight and get bulky. I love how I feel that those muscles, every one feels like I did something. That was one workout. So I'm going to continue doing the light, medium light, staying right in that zone. Weight.
I guess nobody else cares but his audience. Who are you telling this to, Tim? Obviously to us. We'll have a poll about this one in the future as to whether you kept to any of this. I wonder if this is going to be part of Tim's New Year's resolutions too, is to make sure he's back on his carnivore and intense exercise routine. I know I need to find a preceptor for school.
Where I can do 25, easy, kind of easy, reps, and do about 3 to 5 reps, sets, 25 reps, 3 or 4 sets of each exercise. And no, it won't make me sweat because you take a break in between. You know, when I sit there and I do curls, I don't just start sweating.
The reason why Tim's talking about the sweat is because reaction channels make videos about the fact that Tim does not look like he's worked out when he comes out. And I'm sure people have dropped that in his comment sections too. Comments that I'm sure have been suddenly deleted mysteriously from his channel. And I'm sure people break a sweat lifting really heavy weights. I'm sure they do. Hard work. But not Tim. Tim's at a moderate, with multiple repetitions.
Get from running and cardio. And then, of course, all of that doesn't do you any good, right? Without what's in there, what you eat. And look, and I read your comment. I got to get back to Aldi. I'm going back to Aldi. Look, I'm down to 1 pack of steaks. Those stupid salmon patties. I got to get rid of those. I'm not going to eat them.
Oh, ladies, he's going to let you know every reasons why you need to be dating him in this video. Oh, he goes through a gamut of stuff. Oh, he's on a tear. I mean, this is the day after Thanksgiving. So this was yesterday, Black Friday. Tim's not obviously, hitting up the sales or anything, he was definitely, this was Tim's mood. So he had gone out. I found out the daughter that was actually, it was Fred and Rafaela's daughter that had sent Tim the gift card. And so he was like comping in on somebody else's free meal. I think they said it would cover for him too. So I think Tim got in on somebody else's gift card. And then Fred and Rafaela, instead of him saying, don't worry, I'll cover the tip, because literally you should have then, Tim, thought, well, my meal, my drink, my tax, $20-some, let me leave the $20-some for the tip. And he said that he and Fred and Rafaela would tip. So he would be probably just tipping on his. Oh my God. He probably didn't even cover their tip. He's just something else. I mean, just the stuff that most of us would do as probably a common courtesy. Just be like, no, I'll cover the tip. I've got it. Don't worry about it. Because you've already got a comped meal. So you're still saving money. Because now you're not paying the meal and the tip. You're just paying on the tip. But no, Tim couldn't even do that. Probably thinking, well, I picked them up from their house. Nobody wants to date anybody it's got a sad looking fridge like that, Tim.
I like salmon. I don't know why I don't like to eat it. I bought it at Walmart. I think Bubba talked me into it. It's some kind of pink salmon, skin on. Nothing wrong with them. Probably should eat them. But anyway, I got these 2
God.
Angus ribeye, thin ribeyes. These are actually.
Well, he said that hopefully it covered it for Fred and Rafaela, because Tim said he was going to put down a tip because of the fact that, somebody had also walked in and had generously left a big envelope for the staff and everyone was getting tips. Tim was probably thinking about how could he get out of Cracker Barrel without spending anything. Oh, that's a great Paul story. What happened to that box of those Omaha steaks? I never saw that Tim got that extra box of meat. It was supposedly confirmed that really Police Dawn sent that. But I don't know if Tim got an extra box of meat. I don't ever know if he ever mentioned that. Maybe he did. Who knows? All right, he's going to start getting real triggered soon. Keep going.
Actually better because they're not so tough. I don't care if you do buy the prime. You get a thick steak, you fry it, you put it on the grill. I mean, it's like eating beef jerky. The crap is. That's why I prefer hamburger. I just eat a hamburger.
It's meat, baby. I'll never buy these again, but I kind of like them. Look, have you ever tried these? These were 2 for $12, so they're buy one get one. So you're telling me these are $12 for one or something? And look, you get 5 hot dogs. But I think they're the original Coney Island natural casing. The skin was a little tough on them. There's something interesting about them, though. 160 calories.
Oh.
Know this, know that, all this crap. I just soon buy Oscar Mayer all beef. Now, I know that those are hot dogs, but somebody once said in the carnivore diet that the worst hot dog in the world is better than any piece of cake. So, and then I did get buy one, get one. I'm on the thick cut now because you know what? It ain't thick. If you want any bacon, you got to get this one or there's going to be see through it. And I got another pack in the freezer here of bacon. That was when I got that BOGO at Publix the other day. Yeah, I don't want to shop there anymore. It's too expensive. I look back at my expenditures and hell, between buying junk for that motorcycle.
I want to say that one of Tim's videos that Tim says that the worst hot dogs are better than some processed type of food. I don't know. He went off about why he eats hot dogs recently. Might be in this video. Oh, he goes off on a tear. Keep going, Tim. He's going to start going soon.
And
13 minutes into this misery.
Food is ridiculous. I mean, really is.
Isn't he getting happy for the holiday season? Hey, I have no real, limited family. My dogs are pretty much my family, guys. And I try, hey, cute June bug. We're going to go out later. Don't you worry. I got them some little puffy jackets to wear for the winter time. They look cute as can be. So we'll make sure we get some pictures posted up for you guys to see of those. And we have them like sneezing out on the couch over here, just looking as happy as anything. And yeah, they're all ready for the holidays. And I've got my little thing out. We've got all our Christmas decorations. They got little puppy advent calendars that already sold out from Trader Joe's. So yeah, I mean, we just have fun. Where is that, Tim? You've actually got family. You could enjoy Christmas. Now, I don't know because, Tim is getting a little older and there are studies that do show that obviously there is a correlation as much as, that happens between aging and potentially getting more depressive disorders. And it could be actually part of the aging process and potentially changes within the brain. The brain is very difficult to study. Obviously, you just can't go and cut open people's brains. You're not really looking inside the things while it's, still moving like a heart potentially. And so it's a lot harder to study the brain to get good analysis of the chemical amount of the brain. It's just you can't really measure these things effectively like you can measure like your sodium content in your when you get a blood drawn. They're doing say a basic metabolic panel and they're doing like sodium and potassium and all these different things, and so it's not the same with the brain. So I mean, I don't know if Tim's just getting a little bit sadder as he gets older. Maybe he needs to be taking more vitamin D. Though he's down in Florida, we don't often. I'm not giving any medical advice, okay? These are just thoughts. As we get, I know I have to take a vitamin D supplement. I go outside, I walk with the dogs and stuff, but you just don't process it the same way as we age, and we do need that for immune health and bone health. And obviously, it does help with other things. I'm not saying that it's not going to change the brain chemistry, potentially with more cases of, like I said, depressive disorders as we age. Maybe that's why he's having such a gay Merry Christmas. Maybe he hungover.
Let me talk about the finances for a moment.
Let
me regurgitate. Ready? Because everybody else that talks about stuff on YouTube, what do you think they're doing? They're not a god. They're not the all-knowing. They're a regurgitator too. They study, they read stuff.
Okay, so this is where I know Tim got triggered potentially by me. And I'm going to take that one because I always say that the other day when he was doing when I was doing a reaction that the 8 toxic people that Tim just gets up in the middle of the day at night early, and because he says he can't sleep, and he's watching all this YouTube content, and he sees 100,000 views on 8 toxic types of people, that gets popped up by these AI things, and probably gets up in the algorithm because YouTube probably creates this content and gets them AdSense. That's my conspiracy, and I'm sticking with it. I'm just playing. But anyway, he is potentially, then he goes and, puts out that content. And I just literally says, Tim just regurgitates whatever he watches on YouTube. And so he's probably trying to say for somebody like myself, who obviously has, just right now spoken around, basic metabolic panels and different things of this nature, and the fact that I'm supposed to be a regurgitator too, I guess, because I studied for years at university and school, and also hands-on experience because I work in the healthcare field. So I'm constantly in contact with other professionals and obviously caring for patients. And so with all of that going on, inevitably I'm reading additional studies, and I am continuing my education throughout my work. So I guess I'm a regurgitator too. But he is certainly, I feel like this is, so thank you all of you who watch and support this channel, because I think collectively, even though I obviously mentioned it, just because we get views, we get watched, and he sees people watching, collectively, we are triggering Tim. So I'm so sorry. I am a healthcare professional. I'm not trying to trigger you, Tim. I just think you need to be more honest with your audience, more honest with how you got so much money, especially $54,200 of American taxpayer money, that's helped you sit in this RV that you film out of and make all this YouTube money. And you don't ever talk about that any longer. And anybody who does, you get real upset about it. All right, take it away, Tim.
They're getting ready to turn on the money. Oh boy, let me have another sip. They're getting ready to turn on the money printers. We're getting ready to flood the economy with dollars. The Federal Reserve apparently has a plumbing system that operates with money in it, like a plumbing system. And if there's no water in it, it don't work. It's not because the economy is so bad or things like that. It's just that there's not enough liquidity. So for 2 years or more, since they printed trillions of dollars, they've been pulling money out of the market, called quantitative tightening, which means they turn the money printers off and they raise interest rates. And they did all this to bring inflation down by making people not want to buy because of high interest rates and money getting tighter, lending getting tighter. Well, now we're getting ready to go into a phase, and this is pretty much a guarantee, that they're going to print trillions of dollars again. You always have to print more than you did the previous time to, You're talking about a bad credit system. Our government, forget your personal credit. Most people are a hell of a lot more responsible than the government is. I mean, we owe so much debt. It's just ridiculous. I mean, when I grew up and when you grew up, we had no debt, right? We had a balanced budget. And then what? The last recent memory of our lifetime, we just keep growing and blowing up this, like a credit card you cannot stop using. You're addicted, like a drug addict. He's got to have a bigger dose each time, he doesn't get off. Well, that's kind of where we're at. And so the interest rate reduction that was supposed to happen in December is likely not going to happen now. That they're going to start printing cash, and it's going to go in the wrong hands, of course. There's some rumor about a $2,000 stimulus check. They may do something to, I don't know.
Oh, come on, Tim. There's no $2,000 stimulus check coming. Come on. If anything comes back, I mean, it has to be like emergencies, like when the panini happened, and you certainly took advantage. Oh, I mean, that like Tim's little ears perked up. Guys, I took you out to pee just before we started this video. Come on, back up on the couch or something, or play. I don't care. I made sure I took them out. I promise you, just before we started this video, so that they would feel like they could. Sorry, I'm not on my regular rolling thing for my chair, so it's harder for me to move. Anyway, oh my goodness. So yeah, Tim, don't Tim trying to be the financial guru out here talking about quantitative tightening. Keep going, Tim, because he gets angry about some other stuff.
Maybe, it's all about the midterms and vote for me. And it's always a means to an end. The guy I'm regurgitating, he says, don't follow the media, follow the economy, what you see going on. But houses aren't going to come down in price. They are in some.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. I mean, a lot of things like with health, it can be very sort of, it's an interesting space because you either come out as an absolute medical professional, and then you get one type of audience, or you make content around health, and I guess you vlog about your healthy lifestyle or something. And you don't want someone like Tim doing it because we know he knows nothing about health. Tim is like, no. His expertise was supposed to be minimalism in retirement. And he didn't want to stick to that formula because that's not who Tim genuinely is. Retired, yes. Tim's been retired his entire life. But he didn't really plan for a retirement. Oh, he's going to go off. Don't worry. Keep going.
Cities, some states where nobody wants to be. But this is turning into California. Florida is the new California. The New Yorkers are coming here by truckloads, by busloads. They're coming down with all their millions of dollars that they made, like California when they went to Nevada and Arizona and wherever else they went that they bled over into without going all the way across the country. Now we've got the New York.
All right. If you think I'm trading 2 dogs for fighting, please don't. My dogs are just playing behind and they get real noisy. So you're going to hear like my dogs have woken up from their nap and now they're playing. They usually have a little bit more space. I don't know what's going on.
Workers, it's been doing this. It's been doing it. But exponentially, I've lived here. I can tell you firsthand that our winter season has been for years, a year-round season with a definite influx. When people do go back north that have money and nice homes up there and they want to enjoy the weather and get the heck out of here when we're a mile from the sun. And I don't blame them. I mean, I'm going to do that if I can. I'm going to get out of here in those dog days. So, but more and more of them are coming down here and buying everything up. And with their big bucks, you're not going to see any lowering of prices.
Yeah, he likes to tell us that reaction channels steal his great content and we're haters and this, that, and the other. But I make his content transformative and I add my own expertise to your content, Tim. So that's why, I can get, my attorney to send you letters telling you to leave me alone. But yeah, he's regurgitating other people's content and he doesn't even show them. At least when I'm out here, Tim, I have Tim. So, I mean, whose content I'm using. There's no doubt in that. Tim doesn't even give credit. When I use other sources on any other video, whether it's a news article, whether it's a research article, another website, anything of that nature, I promise you, I have listed it in my description box to give thanks to whoever that particular source was. Tim never gives credit to his sources. And that's one of the reasons why he's just a content thief. He's a regurgitating content thief. He's just one of these folks who he's got nothing to add. So, I mean, he can troll on me, and his stands control on me too and call me Nurse Ratchet or whatever the heck they want to call me. I don't really even care. I take that as a compliment, man.
Here's what's happened to our housing market down here. Oh, yeah. It has stayed stable for like the last year over year. It's gone up actually like 1%. So it's not like this big jump. People made a lot of equity from the couple years before when things were really going up, but it didn't go down. And there are certain properties that have adjusted and come down a little bit. Nothing pre-pandemic, nothing to even mention. It's kind of like the increase we're going to get on our cost of living on our Social Security. It's not even worth sharing it. It's a joke because what they give you over here, they raise up over here in the Medicare cost of your Part B, and you end up kind of like, there's a thin layer of additional money. Will I take it? Of course. I'll take an extra $1. But, it's just a joke. So the housing market here, here's what would happen. If rates did come down from the 6% that they are, 7% if you're stiff, you got bad credit. They're talking about these 50-year mortgages. That doesn't save you anything. A couple $100 maybe. And then what? You owe the house for the rest of your life and you never build equity. So if you can put a lot of money down and you can avoid I think it's called PMI insurance with 20% down. So you can avoid that because that's high as heck.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Tim. Oh, it's always so interesting to listen to Tim and his house talk. And he's going to tell you in a second he's never owned a home. Out here talking about 67 years old. Out here talking about PMI. And I can't say that people shouldn't always shoot for a dream. And I don't want to think that I'm the person, taking Tim's dream away of home ownership at 67 years old and that he can't get out there and get himself a nice place. I'm not gonna be that. I'm not going to dampen it. Not when he's so merry, miserable this Christmas. But 20% down is a fair amount, Tim, on a home. And most homes I've seen a lot, it's a fair amount of money, 20%. And talking about wanting to skip the prime mortgage insurance. A lot of people, Tim, what they do on a first homeowner and get the FHA loan, which usually generally has a lower interest rate, which kind of offsets the PMI. And then once the home has garnered enough equity, most people generally then tend to refinance, hopefully at a better interest rate, or ask for the PMI to be taken off. So anyway, but let's hear Tim. That's just my experience having been a homeowner. This is not real estate advice, and I do not work in the real estate industry.
And we only have a few insurance companies in Florida that are left. After all these hurricanes we get, they all just left town. They said, we're done with it. Our deal is to take money in, not pay it out. It's a profit deal. So, your insurance is super high here, flood, homeowners insurance, the HOA costs. You get involved in some of these homes that they don't have any money in their HOA account, and they're getting ready to be reassessed with new roofs or this and that and the other, new landscaping, something that's wore out. And you go in and the owner gives you a good deal because he wants out of that assessment because it's going to cost him. And you jump in, you buy it, and all of a sudden, welcome to the neighborhood. And they just give you this big assessment bill to your HOA. So now this is going to sound ignorant because I am, but I ain't. Weighing the idea today in 2025 about buying and renting.
Here we go. Tim's going to talk about buying and renting because he's been having this discussion in his head. Anybody who's followed Sarasota Tim for any length of time, and because he's had some new subscribers lately, though he's lost some. And Gail is correct. I want to say I'm going to go back to Gail's comment here. It's good to see you too, Gail. Yes, it's good to see Darling and I back. I know we both have been busy, but we're always making sure that Tim's kept in check. But he was lulled into a false sense of security while you were gone. Yes, we think he is. Yeah, it's some old news. He's been waiting for the prices to fall. Yep. And he has. And Tim is constant. His bipolar is off the charts. He's something off the charts today. I don't know about that. It's narcissism, at least. New HOAs covered roof repayments. Yes. I mean, unless you get, hit by the assessments, because they may not. The difficulty is if you've had an HOA who hasn't managed the monies correctly and they've done some shady stuff or they haven't increased the assessments, the monthly assessments enough to actually start to save money that's supposed to be for future repairs. Because I've lived in a condo forever, so I've seen it all happen. My God. But yeah, he's going to go off. So let's hear him weigh up the pros and cons because he's been arguing this one in his head for probably years now. The rent to earn.
You've got this option. First of all, it's going to cost you the same monthly. In the end, yes, you're going to make equity and you're going to have an asset value and an asset and you own it and no one's going to raise your rent 5 to 10% a year like you could renting from a landlord. So owning is still outweighing the renting.
Well, Tim, the other part that, I mean, obviously the building of equity is always so buying it and maintaining the property and knowing you bought in a good location and did the things and know you're buying in also in an area that's going to, be a good area. I mean, there's a lot that gets involved in a real estate choice. People kind of laughed at me when I bought my condo here at the beach 20 some years ago, because it wasn't necessarily in the best part of the beach area. It was in a good school district though. So I knew that. And I saw that over time, it would change. And so it did. And my property, fortunately for me, has been able to, go up in value because I made a very smart choice and I've held on to it for a very long time, Tim. But Tim doesn't understand. You also have property insurance could go up because the prices of the homes in the area, like I know my home insurance has increased just because insurance has increased anyway, and that's part of my mortgage payment. And then my escrow to include also the property taxes. So I have an escrow that covers the insurance and obviously city property taxes. And the city is collecting property taxes on a property that's now worth more money. So now I pay more property taxes. And the city can also decide to increase what it wants to charge per $100 or whatever on property tax. It's different things, Tim. So I think you don't really know enough.
Renting, you come up with first, last, and security, and you keep all your money in the bank, and you can call the landlord. You don't have any problems with any repair bills. Owning, you put a lot of your money in it as a down payment and closing costs and this and that. And then you might have to do some immediate home repairs, and you take all your money, a lot of your money, and now it's in this asset that could next year or the year after, we could have an adjustment or a correction, and boom, your $200,000-$400,000 house went down 20 to 40%, even 20%. Where's the big value there? Well, you still own it. It could come back.
I mean, I don't know any area that's losing. I mean, that would be a pretty depressed area. I mean, I know it happens. I mean, I know because sometimes some of these markets, when they go up just too rapidly, may find that their property prices come down more intensely. There's a lot of people, but I don't think it's, people aren't going to let it come down that much. The banks are, got loans on this money. There's a bunch of factors involved to not, want to just drop stuff down like that. Not dropping that much. I was looking at buying finally moving over the summertime, and then I realized it was too much work.
One day when you die and give it to your kids, they'll make the big profit. Meanwhile, you do have a home. It's your place. You can do what you want, unless you're an HOA. And then, nobody's going to raise the rent, but unless the insurance and the HOA, so, I mean, it's really 20 years ago, 10 years ago, a dozen years ago, it was like not even a comparison. Rent way up here, you buy it, and your mortgage and everything was like $700 a month cheaper. The deal was buy them and then rent them to these schmucks and make $500, $700, $800 a month in profit over your cost of what you got to give the bank. Now you rent, and every time
that's interesting to know. I would hate to be on the hook for one of those mortgages that was up in the higher prices. I know that's how everyone lost themselves in 2008. See, I haven't seen any property prices come down drastically in my area. No, they haven't really. My friend just bought a home in a neighborhood that probably used to be a decent, nice upper middle class neighborhood back. The house was over $1 million. My friend just got an over $1 million house. She married. I cannot believe it. Oh my God. I need to go over and see it.
This person that's renting out this property has an increase in his HOA or assessment or property tax, whatever. They just go, hey, it's your lease is up. Guess what? I pay more, but I ain't going to pay it. I'm putting it on you, baby. And so now the renter is just saddled with more and more and more. And what does he or she got at the end of the lease in 1 year, 2 years? How long you live there? 5 years. They throw you out. The person dies. Their kids want.
Good for you, Mark, and congratulations on being mortgage free. I know that was really hard work. So congratulations on that.
On it, they sell it. They want to make the money on it. It finally went up in value, and you're out on your ear, and you gave $2,000 a month 4 years ago. Now you're up to $2,500 a month. You're paying $24,000 to $30,000 a year for nothing but a roof over your head. You got no equity. You got no asset.
Tim is still trying to just anybody who, that's the reasons why I wanted to show the back and show my home, because Tim is trying to tell us we all are like just not as free as he is, guys. He's gonna go off. Okay, any of us who own a home, anybody, this is probably aimed at JJ. He's going to go off, guys. Make sure you hit the likes when you come on in. It's a free way to help me get Tim more triggered.
Got nothing you can get back, even if you sold your house, if you bought it.
Sorry, you can see the dog's tail.
You got less for it. You're getting money back. It's kind of like buying and leasing a car.
Buying and leasing a car, off he goes. If you the things you can see now are just the tips of the dog's tails because they're playing down on the floor. So you could probably just see the little tips of their tails just for puppy watch.
Even though it's a depreciating asset, you're getting money back. You know, your net cost after that isn't like you leased it and you gave this money every month. And yeah, you drove it, but they don't allow you to drive it because you got a limit of mileage. They don't want to pay you what they want to give back for it unless it's like brand new. And then what do? You sit there like a schmuck and you pay these payments every month and you can't even go to the store with it because if you go over the mileage, it's a super big penalty. It's a joke. Unless it's a complete write-off in your business and you truly...
Careful, Mark, you're going to trigger Tim. Making smart financial decisions like paying off refinancing to a 15 to get a better interest rate and then like getting it paid off even faster. Because I mean, you really, for something like that, I mean, people pay that on a car now. Think, Sarasota's Tim's truck. He put down $60,000 for the truck. So just think about what that truck sits at now, because he gets triggered when you talk about him losing his value of his trucks because he likes things new too. Tim tells you that he don't like. Oh God, he gonna go off. Let's keep going.
Don't drive but to church on Sundays, and you got some reason to justify it because a business is paying for it. That's only like one reason, 2 reasons to even think about leasing a car. Or you just got to have what the Joneses have got. You've got to have Audi, Mercedes, Lexus written on the front grill. And if you go to buy it, it's going to cost you this much a month unless you put tons of money down into a depreciating asset. But if you lease it, rent it, hey, they say all you got to do is pay us what we think the car will lose in value over the next 3 years. So if you just pay that loss, you can have it. But that doesn't mean you can drive it. You can just park in your driveway and show everybody you got a Lexus. But so at the end of the term, yeah, it costs you less to make payments, but you didn't get to drive it and you don't own it. I digress. How did we get on that from the real estate? Because I know a little bit more about that than I do real estate. But I'm toying with the idea of I've never owned real estate in my entire life. I've been a squatter.
How many years have we heard that this is like, okay, anybody who is, listening to Amberlynn Reed or Foodie Beauty, we've got a 67-year-old guy over here who's probably made a lot of money from YouTube, okay? I'm telling you, Tim's channel, you saw over 27 million views off of his channel. I haven't even hit 1 million views. I'm at like 815,000 views on my channel. I'm so close to getting to 1 million. One day my channel will get 1 million views and that will be fantastic. So he's had, millions of times more views than my channel has ever been able to have. And the money that these YouTubers make is absolutely incredible. When you're a little tiny channel like mine, I don't make anything, I can promise you. If one of my good months, if I really got a lot of donations from people and stuff, maybe $200-300, $400, really hitting it out the ballpark. On average, last month, I didn't even make enough to even get paid by YouTube, as it cost me more money from my editor. So I lost money last month. So it's amazing that he has made so much money. I mean, he's made a lot of money. I know people have joked to me and said, no, that's not true. He's made hundreds of thousands of dollars from YouTube. I promise you. Then he's had his Buy Me a Coffee donations, which at one point, when he was also at the height of probably his YouTube earnings, was getting sent almost $1,000 a month in donations for Buy Me a Coffee. Then probably just because the increase in his audience, the Amazon affiliate, he used to say he got a lot of money from that. Sarasota Tim was making a good amount of money. And all of it we can see, and plus the EIDL money we know, and the money from the PPP and all of that went to pay off his previous debts and the previous cars and items that he had. We can kind of see, at least comparatively to the girls, what his money has been sunk into. It was sunk into this RV that he sits in. It was sunk into, obviously, that $60,000 truck and then the cost to maintain that vehicle. It went into a $40,000 Honda, of which he lost it on the sale of the Honda. At least, I don't know. I tried to find out how much he sold the Honda for. It never came out. But I'm thinking it was maybe 32,000, somewhere around that range. So he lost an easy $10,000 to $8,000 on that vehicle, just driving it off the lot. Then he turns around, and from that money, he turns around and spends $26,000 on a motorbike. But he wants to talk about he's trying to make a decision to get a house. Probably could have had a little property that he could have had some time ago. But he is obviously likes to be more nomadic, and he just needs to, just say that's his truth.
For 67 years, almost.
That's my thought.
And that's counting the years my parents squatted. They never owned. I don't mind telling you, I come from po folks. We were squatters from day one. We moved when the rent came due. I've lived 100 places. Even in my own adult life, I have changed my address. Really, though, I don't want to make that sound so bad, because when I roommated, a few times that I had to move wasn't because of me. It was because I went through that real estate depression in 08, and a lot of these people lost their homes or jobs. And, I had to go somewhere else. Otherwise, for the last 20 years, I haven't had, that many addresses. Prior to that, it was because of my business. I moved from California to Georgia to Florida back again. I lived in North Carolina, and I was moving, creating my business and growing. I could go anywhere to any state and do what I did. And I was always searching for new virgin area, new territory to go out.
Yes, I can also travel with my work too in a compact licensed state, which is quite a few states actually, Tim. At least when I do my work, I'm helping people. Because that's the one thing, that obviously I'm out here having a lot of fun, but when I actually am at work, I'm genuinely helping people. Tim, this is what he does. He regurgitates, it doesn't even give credit to those other content creators. And that is a massive YouTube no-no. That's why this guy is just such a menace on YouTube.
I realized that you really can't exhaust an area. You can go right back through and canvas an area a few months later. You don't need to worry about, I already went in there once. No. So then I changed my mind about that.
Dogs disappeared.
Am I hopped up? There's one sip left. This will really get me going. Yeah, cold. I had to run the heater in here this morning twice. I'll be using that propane.
My dogs are playing tug of war on the floor. It is the cutest thing.
I'm going to have to go spend money on that, even though my air conditioning's not running and my electric bill went down, but the utilities costs have gone up in Florida. I'm buying propane. So there you go. It's the old damned if you do, damned if you don't. Where you save on renting, living in an RV on a spot, they raise it every year, but it's still way cheaper than a apartment.
This is why I think Tim got triggered, because the other days he's been outside happily doing his fireside chat, talking about how he's living his best life ever, this, that, and the other. Reactors come out, start making content about how Tim is just not winning at life at all, and how you probably shouldn't take his advice, and how he's probably just conned a lot of people the majority of his life, in our opinion. and he's out here, he's miserable, and now he hasn't put out a video today. So you can always tell when the reaction channels have triggered Tim. No, we're not hater channels, we're just reaction channels. We watch this guy because we know he's been he was gifted something from YouTube he never really deserved, because the video that he was telling about the greatest secret, again, it was just something else he was regurgitating from somebody else's stuff he had watched, who he did not credit. And he just happened to have worded it, and YouTube put it out, and people see it, and it's got so many views. So people are like, God, it must have something in it. It's got nothing. It's absolute dross.
And you can do more. It's actually way cooler. Way cool. Damn apartments suck. I got no use for no apartment. I look at them. I go, prison. You know, cell blocks, dorms. I can't stand them.
You think
and the one I lived in the last was only a 2-story. I see a 3 or 4-story. Those big tall ones. I wouldn't even apply. I don't care if the rent was $500 a month. That ain't true. But anyway, I got no use for stacked living. You know, people stomping on top of you, behind you, the parking lot. You come home, you're in a. What kind of life is that? Not at 67 years old. My pay grade has moved higher than that. So I like what I got going on here. But the corporation could.
Have you heard that? See, if you live in a condo or an apartment, okay, because you know I'm in my condo here, and I'm in a 2-story. I don't go to too many. I've been doxxed already on the internet. Who cares? I got a Ring camera. No, I do. But anyway, Tim's philosophy here is: if you are 67 and you're in a stable living situation like an apartment, because I can promise you, because of the way that my community is designed, and it's an older community, and in the respect that it's an older built community and a community with older people, though we do have children, but we also have retired individuals and a lot of working professionals. It's really that, and some sort of single. It seems like a lot of more single parents probably. It's a small community, and because of the lower level condos that enable, with the sliding doors that enable people to not have to go up and down stairs, so that's very attractive to obviously people who are thinking about places where they're going to be aging, because they want to think, because I have to go upstairs. So a lot of people wouldn't want necessarily to have to go up the 2 flights of stairs to get to my property, and obviously have to have the cost of those stair repairs too. So that's kind of, that sort of thing. So he is sort of talking about the fact that having something like an RV, which over time is not to be lived in full time. And I know there's people who still think that maybe he's still living with Tammy, or he has another apartment somewhere. I don't think Tim is bringing in enough money to afford all of that at this time. I think that between the cost of the renting of the Bradenton slab, the cost of the car insurance, and how his YouTube views, he may still be bringing in $2,000 to $3,000 a month. It's amazing, just because he puts out so much content, and he still gets videos where he could maybe get 4,000 views. Let's say he's making $8 to $10 a vid per 1,000. Maybe he gets $40 on that one, and he's got another. He could be making anything up to $100 a day with all of his videos that he puts out. I mean, it's amazing how many he puts out. He's not putting out 10 as he used to. I think he's slowed down. Anyway,
they could rezone the area. They could raise the rents. They could change the policies. Your unit could be too old. The unit could break and destroy, and there's a lot of things that are happening. However, for the moment, we're good. We're good. But I'm talking about this because it's a serious contemplation that I have as I get ready to enter my last, I'm going to say 2 chapters. I'm giving myself more than 1. I'm older now. My chapters are long too, by the way. My 9-chapter book, which is like 9 lives, I'm on chapter 7. And these last 2 chapters are long ones. So I have to think about how healthy I stay, how mentally strong I stay, how I'm not affected by what people say, what things happen in the world, what the government's doing, what my neighbors are doing, what other people are out there, how they're acting on the roads. I can't concern myself with any of that. I've got to stay focused. And, you know, sometimes it takes you all your dang life to learn something that's this small. I relate it to golf. I played golf horrible. Now I'm only a half horrible.
Oh, with somebody's golf clubs that you took, Johnny Vegas's, that was considered to be the second biggest turkey of the year of yours, Tim, after not caring about Bev's cancer diagnosis. Your eye, this is you're not going to be doing, I mean, this is why you not having a place that you could have got and settled yourself into. I know you think that's boring, Tim, and it doesn't produce any content. But at some point, sir, I hate to bring it up to you because I have worked with people who have aged, because I worked in gerontology and I worked in hospice for quite some time, Tim. And I would think that you are not taking, your eyesight is not bad, and you haven't followed up with your colonoscopy either. So I really think that, and you talked in one of your videos that you've not followed up with the doctor at all about the eye. You're just not going to do it now. You didn't want to pay $45. You paid some ridiculous amount of money for a motorbike that you may not potentially be able to drive because of the eye, that you won't spend $45 because you think the doctor's trying to get something out of you. Absolute, just wild. Just wild. And everyone's like, people are just jealous. This guy's crushing it. Really? I don't know about that. The only thing he's going to be crushed is under a trailer. And I'm not talking about his trailer. I'm talking about like a tractor trailer on a freeway if he's not careful. Not that I would wish that upon him, but I'm just saying.
And it was about just learning one thing, like keeping your arm in or you're turning your wrist this way. It's like, it took me 40 years. You know, that guy on YouTube. You're telling me it took me 40 years? I've been doing it the wrong way?
Yeah,
and that's so true.
It was.
So you got to start thinking. You got to look at your life and say, all right, what is it that's causing me to not be where I should be?
Oh, Tim writing off everything on YouTube, I'm sure. I'm like, I can't even keep track. I'm probably not going to write off anything. I need to, but I'm just like, it was going to take me more effort to try to figure out what to write off than the small amount of money I made from YouTube. It's not, I have to weigh it up. How much, like, is it worth me putting all those filings and having to pay for each one of those filings, you know, because they charge you per filing and stuff. I don't know. So I have to just keep an eye on that. Let's take a look at the poll so far. Okay. And we got over here. All right. 85 votes. Thank you guys so much. Will Tim be banned from Amazon for too many returns? 64% so far say yes. Because we know that he gets stuff from Amazon. And we know that he probably uses stuff and then returns it. And potentially he writes off his taxes. Tim has been running games his whole life. And YouTube is another way for him to get really easy money, he found out, to supplement his lifestyle in retirement because he didn't have anything saved. And he didn't want to do it because that's a sucky way to live. Yeah, it's hard, Tim, and it's hard work, you know?
Now, if you're happy with everything, hey, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. You got a good relationship with the Lord. You're doing a good workout routine. You're eating healthy. And that's the number one thing, health. That supersedes everything I'm really talking about here. In fact, that's always.
And you are not the person that I would get any health information from. This is my wheelhouse, Tim. That is my wheelhouse. Sorry, I'm not looking at my camera. That is my wheelhouse, Tim, is health. And I can promise you the way that you manage your health, just the way that you just discarded your glaucoma care and having taken care of your eyes over your lifetime, and how you are trying to now, you know, I understand it becomes a focus because you feel like you're at the end of your life, but you are not the person to be teaching anybody of this stuff. You have been told by your provider to get a colonoscopy and you aren't defecating properly. You can't be out here, and I think you're scared to see the results. If I see you with a sudden weight loss, Tim, we'll know what's going on, and I don't want to bring that upon anybody. I'm just saying.
It's part of the mix. Is this going to affect my health? Am I going to be worrying too much? Am I going to be neglecting my exercise? Whatever it is that you're going to try to do to improve your life, Make health part of it. Don't ever neglect that, because your last 2 chapters could be cut down to 1. And you don't want to miss that final chapter. So I'm analyzing everything and my finances, what if this and what if that, and what about being alone, or what about being single, or what about living here, or do I need to move to another state that does have a reduction in cost of living and real estate compared to this California, that I'm never going to be able to outrace the cost of living here. My future is in the past as far as buying a house here. I mean, I would have to literally give and sell everything I got to buy the ugliest, cheapest fixer-upper that I have no idea what to even begin. I don't even know how to drive a screw in. Well, I can do that. I'm not giving myself enough credit. I can drive a screw in a board, and that's it. But I mean, that's not going to happen for me. I'm not that kind of person. If it's not turnkey, that's why I bought that motorcycle with 5,000 miles on it. It's turnkey, brand new, and it still had a problem. It still got a little bit of a problem. I just don't tell you guys about it. I'm going to take it back. There's something, it's not bad, but we'll get it fixed up.
Take it back? Didn't he buy it off a private market? How's he going to take it back to the owner that you bought it off a private market from a guy, didn't you? Like something was in his garage because you thought you were getting a steal. It's the reason why people get rid of these things, Tim. Oh, you just had to have that motorbike. You were obsessing about it. Just obsessing. Just that money was sitting there. You just couldn't just leave it there and think that that could be good to have. No, you had to go and get this motorbike. You're still trying to come out here and tell people about your health journey. I mean, I think that's just, you're either going to be truthful and honest about you, because you said that your numbers were great recently, but of course we don't ever really hear your numbers. And if you're going to be out, making statements that you've got the best numbers ever, then you should probably show it. Our numbers aren't usually always the best numbers ever when we get older. And the only time sometimes that people have the best numbers ever is because sometimes they're medicated for those numbers. So, I mean, it's a dual bag. But aging isn't fun, Tim. But I don't think that your narcissistic attitude that you have, and who you are kind of as a narcissist, in my opinion, is really somebody who's going to have a good grasp on the realities of aging. I mean, I have to live with the realities that I'm starting to get osteoarthritis in my hand. And I can only pray that that injection that they're talking about will be on the market by the time I'm needing to get it. And it's going to be ready, because sign me up. And you're wanting to talk about health, but you didn't follow up with your eye doctor. You cannot be talking about a health journey and then you're ignoring your eyesight. Because I promise you, if anything is going to take you down quicker, is a sighted person suddenly losing their sight. You'll be absolutely hating life, Tim. I promise you. It's going to make your life miserable. And if you're not in a place where everything is set up and laid out and you can get around your home and find things because you know where they are, and the layout is made to accommodate a loss of eyesight, which happens to many of us as we age, then the fact that, the good thing with the eyesight is that for many of these things that used to cause blindness in people, if you get it early enough, there are things that will help you not have these issues. If Tim had been seeing an optician in his 40s, then they would have caught this glaucoma much earlier, and Tim would not be having the issues that he would be having today. That would have been taken care of. But because he waited until so late to actually get his eyes seen to, and probably by the time he was actually getting problems with his eyes, this is what has resulted in. You are not the person to talk about health, and my attorney told you that. I've actually had an attorney tell you to get off these topics, Tim, because you are so dangerous.
It's got a warranty, baby.
Sorry.
So
I get passionate about that one.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know this. You can take that big question mark that you got in your head and on your face, or when you look in the mirror, and you can totally put it to bed if you trust in God, because that's what I have. That's all I have. I don't know how to put that screw in the board. I don't know how to fix it up. I don't have the money to go to buy the place. I didn't already buy and sell 3 other properties and my wealth's up here. I didn't go down the road with a job that gets a pension. I didn't do any of the things that a lot of people think is a mold that you must fit into and do as a responsible person to have a future retirement life. No, but yet I'm walking among all those that are doing that did all that, and I'm right in there with them because God has blessed me to enable me through my mouth and the breaks and the connections and whatever. Too much
to the scam. YouTube, you allow too many of these types of characters to proliferate on your platform. Girl World is, if you, and many of you may not be familiar, but many of you on this community may be. Girl World, for example, is proliferating with all sorts of characters. And Tim's another character that he likes to, he wants to be amongst, he says the worst things about, he's just jealous. I mean, let's just be honest. He is envious that other people had taken, and it takes time, and it takes sometimes, especially, riding some hard times potentially. And others may have found things easier. Others, it may be a harder task, but it takes a certain amount, I guess, you have to be resolved and you have to have a certain amount of dedication and sacrifice potentially for some of us to have owned our properties that we have. And, Tim is definitely on the beer budget trying to do the champagne lifestyle. That's definitely, and he certainly has presented himself as somebody who would have more. That's why he wears certain watches, dresses in certain clothes or shoes, wants to be seen in that $60,000 truck or on a Goldwing. He's definitely has to have these appearances of having wealth in some way or some type of affluence. Maybe not super wealthy, but some type of affluence at least. And he wants to mingle with these people because he wants to see what he can get out of them. With JJ was opening up his very nice home, and Tim was just having the best time staying over there and getting Bev to do his laundry. With Teddy and Jolene, it was like living on a beautiful property that he did nothing in his life to actually work or to obtain, and just kind of sit out and call himself property manager. So he really does try to ingratiate himself, and part of that way is by looking a certain role. I mean, in reality, he doesn't want people thinking, that's why he's got to keep trying to sell the RV. Because in reality, he's embarrassed to be in that RV. Absolutely embarrassed. But he doesn't have the financial sense or the wherewithal or the whatever to have thought that with all the money that he made from YouTube, he might have been able to have actually got himself a property in a while back ago. But he's too cheap to even pull the trigger on a home. Because he wants to think he's getting something on a deal or a sale. So that's why he's going for cars or RVs or something, because he thinks he's getting something. He doesn't feel like, I think that he's never gonna pull the trigger on real estate ever.
It's a list.
That's my
of just everything that I've got. And I have less than a lot of people, more than some.
Oh,
that I'm happy. And that's good. Because again, remember, health. It doesn't matter if you did all those other things. You got the big pension. You got the...
Oh, David, I wanted to thank you for the very generous little super sticker saying thanks you for being looks like a pear. Thank you. And Roscoe, who's right down here right this minute, he thanks you too, because it's going to go help. And Miss Junebug's all down here. They just had a good sneeze, and now they're playing, and now they're under my feet. So thank you. That was really sweet and kind and really appreciate it. And all of you watching and commenting and liking, we've got a really nice group of us in here today. I want to say thank you. 91 votes so far on whether Tim's going to get himself banned from Amazon. So thank you. All right, Tim, keep going, because you can tell he's all upset and mad at anybody. Maybe he's upset because Fred and Rafaela went back to remember, I think he went home with Fred and Rafaela after, because he was driving, and dropped them off and probably went up in their condo and had that nice cup of coffee. And I think they owned the other property that he and Tammy used to rent. So they make another stream of income. So I know that in reality, though, Tim wants to be the beer, budget champagne lifestyle and kind of, enjoying the work of others, throughout their lifetime. I think what it is that in reality, he is jealous. He's jealous, I mean, it's, one of those things. I promise you, I'm not jealous of my friend who's got a mortgage on $1 million home. $1 million home. My Lord.
401. You got $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 in cash sitting in a savings account or in a CD. But if you are horizontal, laying in that, and that's all you can do is lay in a bed or sit in a chair, that's all you can do. What good is it to inherit the whole world and lose your soul? Now that's a little different meaning than what I'm trying to say, because that's regarding going to heaven and all. But truly, what is money or anything, your pensions and all that, without health? So you must stay healthy. That's why I want to get back on my carnivore. And I know a lot of people argue about, well, you're going to eliminate food groups and all that. And I'm bouncing around, but I don't care. It worked for me.
This video is awesome, Tim. You just bringing out every one of the greatest hits on this video. It's the back and forth on having not bought a house, and really, probably wishing he had been one of those people who had purchased something many years ago at a price under 6 figures, like many of us maybe took the opportunity to do so. But for somebody like me, it's been a sacrifice, okay, getting this property and staying, and things that I've had to do. Lay my own floorboards, Tim. I actually laid my own floorboards. It was really hard work. Lots of maintenance things that have to be done when you own a home that maybe you don't always want to call somebody out, and maybe you have to do some of the maintenance yourself. I fixed my own air compressor on my AC unit outside. My compressor went out. I put that compressor in myself. Followed a YouTube video. Saved myself hundreds of dollars doing it. You've knocked out the greatest hits about your health and the carnivore diet and relationships, whether you should be solo. I mean, you're knocking it all out. Oh, yeah. Tim is on a roll.
Weight, and I felt good. And I don't feel good about the things that I've been eating for the last month when I was on my vacation. Thanksgiving yesterday was delicious. I don't regret it, but I know that I can't eat like that. Gravy, stuffing, pumpkin pie. I mean, who doesn't like sugar? It's addictive, right? It's like an alcoholic. You have one drink, you're right back. You're off the wagon, man. You're right back on it. Believe me. I know these things now. And with what I know and what I got to do, I'm thinking about it all the time. And so I woke up this morning, I'm like, all right, man, you got to exercise. I'm so cognizant of my physical appearance. I want to look good. I want to feel strong. I want to feel good. I want to be able to ride that motorcycle across this country. I want to be able to get in front of this camera and have enthusiasm and look healthy and promote good ideas. That's how I'm thinking. Plus I'm all hopped up. So that's what I'm doing.
That's why you can't pee at night.
That was my video. I just like it. This guy is on something, man. So.
Oh my goodness. He really is. All right, guys. I'm not gonna keep you much longer. Let's finish it out, Tim.
So, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm back on the train. I can't wait to ride. I can't wait for my new camera equipment to get here. I'm blessed to have the money to buy these things. I was blessed to get that deal of $250 off by applying for a credit card that I'll never use. They just gave me $250. And then
yeah, you said you weren't going to use those credit cards, Tim, and then you used the credit cards for your teeth. You should have had the money to do those teeth. I'm trying to pay for Roscoe's teeth in cash. It'd be nice. So I understand. But if you have to use a credit card and then pay it off, then do that. But don't shame other people. I think that's the biggest thing I have for Tim, is that Tim just wants to shame everybody. And sometimes people do things for various reasons. Maybe they have to do it because they, pay it off while they work. Whatever. But I think, Tim, you can't be talking about the debt-free minimalist and this, that, and the other. When we know you have money you had to take out for your teeth, you've spoken about it. You took out a EIDL loan, which you're still obviously having to pay for. So, that's another thing. When Tim's not making money, all of these things that he has that he does have as loans, he still pays $300 a month on that EIDL. I mean, I know he thinks he's taking the most of that to his grave. So that's why he always laughing about the RV, because this is what he got on the taxpayer dime.
I got Black Friday deals, which I wanted to buy all this crap a month ago. And I didn't even think about, hey, why don't you wait for Black Friday? Maybe there'll be a deal. But God made these things happen for me because I don't have $400,000, $500,000, $800,000 sitting in the bank where I can just say, I'll do it now. I can never spend all my money. And so these are the kinds of breaks and the kinds of ways God works in my life and your life. Not all of us, in fact, the masses don't have what the top 1%, 10%, however many it is, that have all this money, And now, what's the...
But you don't care, Tim, per your voting record. I'm just going to say. You're not sort of voting for people who might vote for services. You know what I mean? You're voting for people who are going to give tax breaks to the most wealthy and hit your pocket the most, Tim.
What you're going to do, folks. They're going to turn on the money printers. They're not going to lower the rates. The houses are going to be holding their value and not really coming down because so many people want to be here and buy them. And the guy I watched on YouTube that talked about, if you don't think housing is going to go up, then just think about this. How much do you think the average home is in California and in New York? So when you go to areas like Sarasota, where you can buy a house for $450,000, which is the national average, that's like crumbs. That's like cheap as heck to a Californian or a New Yorker. And you know how many people live in that state, California and New York, that are getting the heck out of there because of their politics? California's not leaving because of the weather, but New Yorkers are coming down here because of the politics, the taxes, the cost of living, and the dang weather. And more of them are retiring. And getting out of their...
Tim acting like it's a mystery that people retire to Florida. Why do you think they built the villages? Acting like it's a mystery. Florida has always been the retirement capital of the United States, Tim, since I remember. And I'm old. My own grandmother's sister and her husband retired to Naples.
Businesses and stuff. And they're like, I'm going down there for the sunset.
Oh my God.
Beaches, palm trees. Like all my friends. And the more people that come here, the more the advertising and the yelling to all the rest of the country about how great it is here and no state tax and all this kind of stuff. And I've seen it change to not the better. And nothing is better than it was when I grew up. When I grew up in San Diego, my goodness, what a cool ass place that was. You could feel it as a young person. I didn't have any money. I couldn't go do all the stuff, but I could go to the beach. I could live close to the beach. I surfed. I would go into the desert. The freeways weren't like that crowded. Yeah, they had traffic jams occasionally. Lots of places were affordable to live. Gold was like $300 an ounce. I was selling cars. I was slim, young, dumb, and full of it. And I had blonde hair down to here, feathered back on the sides.
That sounds like Tim's religious talk, hey? Full of it. We know what you were talking about being full of, Tim. And you're full of it. I mean, there's mini double entendre on that one, Tim. That's a double entendre. I don't need to explain. My audience is intelligent enough to understand.
I had a car company demo. Man, me and the ladies, I had all kinds of them. I was living life. I look back in those days, and then I come over to Florida, and I grew up in another young part of my life in high school here in Lake Worth, and grew up and surfed here and fished here and went out on my dad's boat with him and learned all about saltwater stuff. And California was about paddling out, and Florida was about going out on a boat. And I watched them build Palm Beach County. I watched them take I-95 where it used to dead end at PGA Boulevard, and then they extended it to Fort Pierce before it went on up to the top of the state. 441 it didn't even come up. It ended in Broward County. And that
There's nothing worse than watching the people that wish they had got real estate in the good real estate areas get upset years later, because that's Tim. I have a bunch of my friends who all want to live in the area that I live in now and used to tell me back in the time, you don't want to live there. Now they all moved to where I'm at. I knew what I was doing 20 some years ago.
was like so far inland. That was so far west. There was nothing. Now there's not an inch of real estate from the water of the ocean on the Atlantic all the way across to here that's available, except in the middle of the state where these cows are. Other than that, this whole place, South Florida and Tampa, which I would never live, or Orlando or any of that crap, has exploded. You know, what took decades for it to grow a little bit and start increasing in the last one decade, you know, we're bursting at the seams. Traffic is off the chain. Roads aren't near wide enough. And I digress, because in the end, the bottom line, I ain't going nowhere. I love it here. I hope to be here until I die. I mean, I think I hope that. There's nowhere else. I've lived a lot of places. I want nothing to do with California except their weather and to visit. And then to visit, hell, when I was there the last time, I couldn't even go around. The amount of people there and the traffic is insanity. Insanity.
Oh yeah, like Tim got out. I mean, he managed to make a lovely trip to California. Just oh God, he and Tammy, miserable travelers. Merry misery, Tim.
And it's going to be like that here. And if you go over to Dade and Broward County, if you ever want to visit there, like Miami,
Florida's been packed forever. I mean, maybe, yeah, there were great deals 20 years ago. I want to say maybe right after, potentially after the 2008 crash, because the property prices in Florida started to go up exponentially. We're going to finish up soon. Exponentially at that time. And anybody in Florida can attest to this. They comparatively to what they were. You know, $100,000 properties were over 200 some thousand, you know, especially around the Tampa area and certain, you know, areas were really popping off. I had a hairdresser who purchased a home hoping to flip it. So she and a partner went in, we're buying like a property, and we're hoping to flip it for a greater amount of money. And she was here in Virginia. And as it turned out, the market crashed right at the time when her house was about on the market. Nothing sold in her neighborhood. She ended up having to rent it, which is like what flippers never want to do, because it, you know, changes the value of the home. La 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 la. Finally, I think she finally got out from under that home, but it took years. So, Tim, you lost out a long time ago, mate.
Forget it.
My point is,
so, it's taking a little bit of the fun out of the motorcycling, because it is extremely hazardous, as people have no regard of how they drive. Everyone is on a racetrack. Everybody races. Everybody speeds. Nobody stops. Everybody forgets red lights. It's a sad thing. And maybe if you want those things back, you will have to go to BFE somewhere, Alabama or Mississippi or somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, you know, Nebraska, and live, if you want to, you know, just get away from people and avoid all of these things. But you're not here. If you do that, you're not going to be here where the stuff is and the excitement, all the good that's still left. So you just have to wade through the bad, and it's a challenge. And that's why I'm thinking all the time now. All right, what's it going to be like? Where am I going to go? Well, right now, nowhere. Right now, I'm just going to crush it.
Oh, no. No, you're not crushing it, Tim. We know you're not crushing it. All right, guys. I am so thankful for all of you for joining me today. Tim is just on a roll. He's putting out the greatest hits. I appreciate you for joining me. I'm going to try to get myself a little bit more in the center here. We are going to be finishing up because my one stream is telling me I'm on a countdown. So I did want to finish out the poll. So let's take a look. We had 99 votes. See, 100. Yay. I'm so excited it got to 100 votes. Thank you for that. Will Tim be banned from Amazon for too many returns? We're ending the poll. 63% say yes. And 37% say no. And we know that Tim would not want to get banned from Amazon because he is an affiliate with them, and he does get a little bit of jingle to his little pocket through Amazon. And so I would think he would be very sad. It was good to see you, Dinger. Thank you. Make sure you go over and check out Dinger's channel if you have a chance. He does also commentary on Sarasota Tim. So check out, he does do recaps and puts up with a lot of his content to get to those recaps, because Tim can, some days he's been rolling out, a million videos. You can see that every piece of furniture I have is covered with a blanket or something, or a sheet, because the dogs are on everything. I so appreciate you being here. I'm going to try to see if I get the energy to go live tomorrow. I do have to return back to my regular job tomorrow. Reason why I went earlier today was I do need to get my papers written. I did want to thank David for that little bit of a super sticker to help little Roscoe. And of course, all of you who are members of the community, those of you who've generously donated your time to watching, because all of that goes to helping me take care of my dogs. It's a little bit of extra money. American vets are ridiculously expensive. Yes, could I pull an extra shift? Yeah. But I'll be honest, I'd much rather be home streaming and hanging out with my dogs and hanging out with you guys and having fun, and doing that as a little bit of a hobby on the side, than obviously just always having to go to work. Because I promise, as a registered nurse, I can work. My company would let me work 60 hours a week. So I appreciate it. Like I said, I think we managed to trigger Tim off from our live the other day. So thank you for helping me do that. And like I said, I'm trying to think of some imaginative things to do. So for the month of December, my class is finishing up. So unfortunately, school and nearly getting through grad school is the priority at all times. But I'm happy. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Saturday. If you are, wherever you are in the country, if you're out stuck in that terrible snow anywhere out in the middle part of America, I hope you are staying safe and comfortable. I hope that everybody having still a wonderful holiday season. And I can't wait to see you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining me and my babies back here. And I'll make sure we get the babies back here. They're playing now. So that's why you don't see them. They're on the floor. They're playing. And so I'm just happy to share my little ones with you all too. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Sammy and Miss Catherine and Angel of Glass, who were all here as my moderators today. Thank you guys for just being fantastic and for being here. I can't do it without you. And Catherine, I'll try to figure out what's going on about that timed out thing. I think that's something I have to do on YouTube's end. But send me an email because I may forget to do it. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.